integrated diamonds, Jim&Bobby Peryear.
Thank you, thank you. I know that was for her, not me, so I appreciate that very much. And so I get the distinct pleasure of introducing, you don't need to sit down, Bobby Peryear.
It is an amazing privilege to be here. I just wanted to say thank you, first of all, to our amazing backstage guys. Wow, thank you guys. We love and appreciate you. Thank you, too, to Rob and Vicki Velkamp. You guys are fun. They've been speaker hosts for us this evening. And Jim and I have a shout out to Amber. If you are here, rock the world, Amber. We are on your team. We're ready to help you. It's an amazing privilege to be here with you, Denver Dream Builders, today. Are you excited to be here? How many of you here are first time Spring Leadership? Me too! We've been at a couple of different events, but this is my first round of Spring Leadership, and I am beyond grateful for the things that I am learning right now. It's intense. Would any of you use that word to describe what you are soaking in, what you are getting and receiving? Oh man, it's an amazing time to be growing in our businesses. This is a season of fantastic growth in Worldwide Dream Builders. You've heard statistics, you guys. This is a time for you to be a part of a going and growing concern. Iron sharpens iron. Are you ready to be sharpened? You know, there's no better time to get traction in our businesses, so congratulations. You are here. You decided to show up. You're not outside building that snowman for the 100th time. You're not shoveling your driveway again. You're here. You got your show-up shoes on, so let's go. If you know anything about my story, you'll know that I am in one of the biggest learning curves of my life. I've got this amazing new husband whom I adore, that guy. We are in, I don't know what he just did. We're in a new marriage. We've got a new home. Our family is getting to know each other. And on top of all of that, I'm a new IBO in my first year of growing my business. So I'm walking that journey alongside so many of you guys. I'm a human sponge this year. I'm soaking up so much new experiences, new information. And here's some of the things that I'm learning so far. First of all, I'm learning about our awesome product lines. Kind of like what David said, I'm learning about what's in my store, right? I'm learning about what it is that I'm using, what it is that I am encouraging other people to use and to help other people learn to grow their businesses based on what's in my store. Fortunately, I've had a very loving and gentle transition with the Brand X product purge. If any of you have recently experienced the product purge, put your fist in the air. Here we go. And if you need to, just do it. Just do it. Number two, second thing I'm learning right now, I am taking notes and names like crazy. Jim and I are meeting with people in our everyday walk around life, getting to know people, getting the opportunity to share with them the game-changing, life-changing opportunity that this family of dream builders is all about. Number three, I'm being mentored by, obviously, some of the very best in the business. So thank you, Ron and Georgia Lee. Thank you, my Jim. They have been patient, kind, sharing wisdom, knowledge, and history, which is fascinating, the history that they have been a part of. And they have been very graceful with me as I grow and make all the mistakes that all of us make as we learn to build our businesses. So I'm really appreciative. Guys, our leadership is amazing. They are every day caring about how to help us grow better, faster, wider, stronger businesses that will exist for our children's children. And that's what I want. I don't know about you. That's what I want. We have great leaders leading us, but that really can't be enough That can't be our takeaway today, can it? It's confidence building that we have great leaders leading us, but there needs to be something more. We can't stop there. The fact is that there is no success without a successor. Let me say that one more time. There's no success without a successor. So spring leadership is really about us becoming the next wave of great leaders for our groups, our families, our downline. And I hope this idea doesn't just interest you. I hope it's fascinating to you. I hope it's compelling to you. In the last 2 years, I've been working on my master's in servant leadership development. And I've been working with a group of people, a cohort that meets in Chicago, actually, and we've been looking at some of the big ideas surrounding servant leadership. One of my favorite topics is how leadership actually gets passed along. And we have lots of words to describe that process, really: coaching, mentoring, modeling, apprenticing. But I prefer a very specific word picture. And that word picture is passing of the baton. It involves a simple act. So I ran high school track, and I was on a couple of relay teams. We faced our biggest challenges not with speed, but with that baton pass. And if any of you have ever experienced, you know what I mean. We drop the baton, we lose the race. We fumble the baton, we put our race at great risk. So I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this idea of passing the baton and doing it well, There's a simple model for doing this, and that's what I'd like to share with you today. It's so simple, it's so repeatable, yet it is so primarily applicable to building our businesses. So if you're going to write anything down, here it is. The first thing that we do is we take this step. Number one, I do it as the leader, you watch, and then we talk. The second thing that happens is I do, you help, and then we talk. The third thing, you do it, and I help you, and then we talk. Fourth, you do it, and then I watch, and we talk. And finally, you do, I begin that process with another person, and so do you. Coaching to multiply, simple, in a nutshell, powerful, repeatable, duplicable. It's an amazing thing, so simple and yet so powerful. And here's the most important thing. The magic in this is we talk. We talk about what happened. We talk about the mistakes. We talk about the victories. We talk about what could go better, and we learn that way. So I hope that this is something that you can just remember to use over and over again. Aristotle says we repeatedly are what we do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act. It's a habit. So in a healthy family and a growing business, this transference of leadership isn't once and done. It happens over and over again. You're going to have somebody passing the baton to you at the very same moment that you are passing that baton on to somebody else. Maybe you're helping somebody work through their first napkin plan. He's been helping me. Maybe you're helping somebody to set up their first ditto and understand their business plan. And at the same time, maybe somebody is helping you to fine-tune your plan presenting skills or expand your own knowledge of your business and where it's going. You will be in a position of greater and greater leadership as your business grows. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. If you wrap your mind around the importance of giving and receiving the baton of leadership correctly, you will be blessed to be a blessing. So I pray that you will be that blessing, and just remember to keep it simple and keep going. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you a great leader in my life, my husband, Jim. Let's welcome him.
Isn't she awesome? been one of us her whole life, just didn't know it. She had to come find us. That was awesome, man. Thank you. Well, first of all, thanks for braving all the global warming out there to show up today. That was awesome. It's a little weird down here. I always get weirded out by the weather down here. But one of the things I want to talk to you about is, a lot of you know, I get the blessing of, in the afternoons, I get to be a football coach, and at the university level and at the minor league level in Spokane. So I want to use an analogy from that, and I want to give you a tool. And this business, you know, there's sports and then there's sports, right? There's a lot of sports are contact, you know. Basketball is considered a contact sport, which is weird to me. Sorry. But this is a football town. This is a Super Bowl town right now, right? So you guys got a little bit of a grasp of this. This business is more like football. This is a collision sport, okay? A collision between this world in here and that world out there, right? There's going to be a collision. Okay, it's two totally different mindsets. And when you go out there, you got to decide you're going to survive that collision. You know, not all the time. It's not necessarily a negative collision. Sometimes it is, but people have questions. Sometimes they're legitimate. Sometimes they're just an excuse. But one of the biggest ones out there seems to be what I'm going to talk about right now. I grew up in the Peryear household, so Dad never could explain anything without drawing it on a board. So I'm a lot like him. So whenever I show the plan, I always end with this, because this is one of the biggest obstacles, hurdles, or excuses that people have when it comes to looking at this business opportunity for themselves. What is a pyramid? Is this legal or is this illegal? Again? I'm hearing a little bit of both. It's kind of a trick question because I haven't given you enough information to know. Because there are legal and there are illegal pyramids out there, okay? And so, well, what makes a pyramid illegal? Real simple. All the benefit goes one way. It's almost always money, okay? So what is an example of an illegal pyramid? Well, like a Ponzi scheme, a chain letter, something like that. How does this work? Works like this. Let's look at a Ponzi scheme, okay? You have a schemer, okay? As the Joker would say, you have a schemer, okay? Let's say that this is a trinary matrix, okay? So this guy goes and finds investors who give him $100 each, okay? They buy in for $100. Well, he made $300. Well, what do you make $300 for? Nothing, except the promise that he will give them a guaranteed return on investment. First of all, here's your first clue that something's probably illegal. If somebody tells you there's a guaranteed return, it's probably illegal, okay? So they guarantee you some kind of high rate of return. Let's say 100%, you double your money. Oh, when? When what happens? When a business grows, when product gets sold, something like that? Oh, no. No, as soon as you go out and you bring in investors each. Okay, so when you go out and bring in, that ought to be your second. That ought to be the biggest one right there. You bring in 3 each. So what happens? Well, your money doubles, so you made $200 on your 100. You got 200 back for your 100. You feel pretty good, right? Right? Okay? Well, here's the deal. The other part of that goes up to him, so he made $300. Okay? Now, when those 3 bring in 3 each, and they all buy in, now he makes $900. Then on the next level down, he makes $2,700. And 3 times each level before, on and on and on, until what happens? We run out of investors who want to do this, right? That's how an illegal pyramid works. That's not what we do, okay? Obviously not what we do. So, how does a legal pyramid work? Well, it's real simple, okay? Legal looks like this. There's input and there's output. There's an exchange, okay? The bottom of the pyramid gives some kind of an input, usually in the form of labor, but it can be other things as well, but normally in the form of labor. What the top of the pyramid gives is some kind of benefit, usually in the form of an income. Does that make sense? There's an exchange. So, How many legal pyramids are there out there? Lots and lots. How many of you are involved in a pyramid? Raise your hand. Every single one of you, if you got a job, you're in a pyramid. Okay? Legal pyramids are jobs, right? Okay? They're your church. They're the military. They're any organization out there. It's just structure, an organization. Let's look at the pyramid that you're already involved in. Let's look at the pyramid that everybody else is already involved in for the most part. That's called a job. Okay? You have a boss, right? The boss has a few people that help them. They each have a few people that help them. They each have a few people that help them. They each have a few people that help them. And then there's everybody down at the bottom that does the work, right? Kind of how it works. So let's say that this is you. You're not entry level. You're lower management. You're just a step up from entry level. In order for you to move up in this structure, what's the very first thing that has to happen? Specifically to somebody at a level above you. Let's say this person. Something bad, right? I mean, they got to die, quit, get fired, or retire, which is another way of saying you're fired because you're old, but we don't want to get sued, right? So this spot opens up, and then what happens is something really, really awesome. Brotherhood, love and brotherhood kicks in, and you start, all of these people on this level start promoting each other for that spot, right? You're laughing. Is that not what happens? Of course not. You start trying to climb over each other for that one open spot. For what? $5,000 to $10,000 a year more if you don't have to move across the country, a little bit better parking spot, maybe a cubicle closer to a window, something like that, right? And so here's the deal, though. Here's where it really gets fun. These people at this level don't decide who moves up. It's somebody above that level. But are they going to make that decision without talking to everybody else on that level? Of course not. Why? What happens if these guys don't want you there? Well, why would they not want you there? Well, there's two reasons. The first one is obvious. What if you suck, right? Why wouldn't they want you there? Well, because that means they're going to have to do more work at that level to make up for your inability to do work, right? So they don't want you there. That one's pretty obvious. Here's the one that's not obvious, but very insidious. What happens if you're awesome? What happens if you're a rising star? Do they want you there? Why? Because you make them look bad, right? And so I don't know if you've noticed a little trend to this diagram, but the higher you go, the fewer spots there are. It's kind of like this really sick and twisted game of musical chairs that grown-ups play. Okay? So here's the deal. Depending on, let's call it something nice like office politics, you know, who kissed who's whatever the most or whatever, nobody can come to an agreement on who they want there, so they just bring somebody in from outside anyway. Have you ever seen that? That's why, okay? So isn't that awesome? That's how a job works. This guy always makes the most, these guys always make the least, and there's little if any chance of moving up, especially that's under your control. That is not what we do. We do not do jobs. We work for ourselves. So instead of having a boss, we have something called a platinum. All a platinum is somebody who's developed a group that does 7,500 points times at least 6 months, right? They deal directly with Amway for the group. They're like mom and dad for that group, right? Not because they've been in longer, but because they've performed at that level. So they know what they're doing, not think they know what they're doing. So let's say that this is you. You're not personally sponsored. You're downline somewhere from them. And let's say, hey, you know what, man? I want to be a platinum. I want to be top of my organization. I said, great, no problem. Just create a group that does 7,500 PV times 6 months. Now, in a job setting, can you take everybody at that place of employment who's subordinate to you and all the clients that you deal with for that company and leave there and go start your own thing? Absolutely not. You have what's called a non-compete clause in your employment contract, which says you will not do that for so many years, for so many hundreds of miles, right? And that's how it works, because they don't want to educate you on how to be successful, have you leave, and then go into competition against them, right? Okay? So, here, it's exactly the opposite. Not only does everybody above you want you to do that, they're going to teach you how to do that. Okay? Well, why? I mean, when you hit platinum, when you do 75, you split out of that group. That volume comes completely out of that group. In a normal business, that would be the kiss of death. Here, it's not. It's actually the kiss of freedom. It's pretty awesome. Amway knows how big your business is. This doesn't come from you. This isn't a royalty you pay to your upline mentor and coach. This is a reward from Amway that goes to the upline. What it's called is a 4% leadership bonus. Okay? That's worth a minimum of over $850 every month. You do at least 7,500 points times 3 times, 3 to 1 for the PV to BV times 4%. That's worth at least $850. That's just if you do the minimum, if they help you do the minimum. What happens if they're really good teachers and they help you go Ruby? Be $1,700, right? A month. Well, what happens if you're doing 22,500? Well, it'd be $2,550 a month. And on and on. There's no limit to how big that can be. We have legs that do 30,000 points, 40,000. We've had legs in the past that have been as high as 60 and 70,000 points. Think about what that starts to look like, okay? So, this is what's so cool about this, okay? If this is you, are you limited to going platinum because your upline went platinum? Absolutely not. You can go help somebody go platinum, okay? And then you help somebody else go platinum, and you can earn those checks, and then you help somebody else go platinum, somebody else go platinum, you help 6 businesses down the line from you go platinum, you're now a diamond. Making on average, if you do it 12 months out of the year, $400,000 a year, a little over $400,000 a year, right? Now, in a normal job type pyramid, this is what's important about this. You're always limited by the incompetency of people above you in the structure, right? Okay? I'm fully at ease with the fact that I'm a moron. All I'm trying to do is find 6 people who are way smarter than me, okay? Okay? That ought to give us some hope. Now, here's the thing, okay? Is this using people? Let me ask you a question. If you had a buddy who owned a company and you lost your job and he gave you a job, would you feel used by him or would you think he did you a favor? Did you a favor, right? He helped you feed your family. Well, this is way better, right? If this is using me, abuse me, please, okay? Right? Economically speaking, you got to get your head screwed on straight when you're out there. To me, this is your helmet. This should protect your brain when you run into somebody who's maybe not thinking so clear, okay? I won't call them stupid, but you got to have your helmet on. This protects your brain. Remember what you're doing. You have to understand something. Economically speaking, we're not their best friend. We're their only friend, okay? There is nothing else out there. That's a lot of what the process is trying to get you to understand. You got to get your head screwed on straight. When you understand that, you all of a sudden become attractive. Now the bullies, they either shut up or go away, and you start being attractive to people. People want to work with people who are confident and know what they're doing. I'm not a big motivator guy as far as dream building and stuff like that. I'm not good at it. To me, the motivation is in knowing how it works and understanding that it's the deal. Does that make sense? That gives me great confidence. Then I can go out and I can talk to people without worrying about whether I'm right or wrong. I know I'm right. Does that make sense? And I will try to help you overcome your ignorance on what this is, but I'm definitely not going to argue with a bad attitude. If you're not interested, you're not interested. I'm not going to waste a lot of time trying to argue with you. It's the difference between an obstacle and an objection. I never, ever, ever try to overcome an objection, but I will dig in as hard as I have to with you to overcome an obstacle. Does that make sense? So that ought to be it. Some will, some won't. So what, right? So I hope that helps you, and we'll talk to you later.
Diamonds, Bob and Shelley Coomer.
Well, we love you guys. Thanks for having us out here. I love coming out here. I had the opportunity to come out every year with Billy and Brad and a bunch of other guys to go snowmobiling out here. You guys don't have any snow anymore. What's the deal here? and come out to walleye fish. And I just love this part of the country. Love all of you. You got that heartland mentality. You love family, and you're free enterprisers. What more to ask for than that? So we just appreciate more than you know, and we know that you're growing like crazy, up 45% over this time last year. So proud of you guys. I can't even tell you how proud we are of you. And we hope that we can close this afternoon out by just sharing a few things with you to help you move forward and really make this thing blow up, because by this time next year, we need to fill this thing up. There's been a lot of leadership here for a lot of years paying the price, and this business goes in cycles. It goes up for 5-10 years, and it kind of levels off, and goes up for 5-10 years, levels off. And of course, I don't know that it's going to level off anytime soon, but who knows? And if I were you, I would take advantage of this unbelievable vertical growth right now. As the economy gets worth $17 trillion in debt and rapidly growing, regardless of what party affiliation you're a part of, we have a bunch of people in Washington, D.C. that do not have your interests or mine at heart. And we need to take control of our lives and our families' business matters and go out there and kick some serious tail and get financially free, okay? So, I'm going to turn it over to my best friend. We've been married 30 years this September. And so fired up. I got a gift for her. I got a big surprise for her. I won't tell her what it is. And she's a very controlling person. And she goes, I get to help plan it. I go, no, you don't. She goes, yes, I do. I go, you have no way of being able to control what we're going to do. And I'm going to blow her mind in September and October. And so this is my secret sauce. That's what I call her. We have what we have today because of this girl right here. And everybody loves her. I tease everybody all the time and said if they ever create a new sitcom, it's going to be Everybody Loves Shelley, okay? And so you are blessed to have her in Minneapolis. Everybody loves her. Julie Duncan's best friend on the face of the earth next to her husband. My little bride, Schmurf is what I call her, Shaylo. I call her Shaylo, okay? And she has given us everything we have, 2 beautiful kids, a wonderful diamond ship going EDC. She holds it all together, and you are about to be blessed beyond belief. So here's my lovely bride, Shelley Ann Coomer.
Oh, wow. Has it today been awesome? Seriously. I mean, I don't want to hide. I mean, the talks have just been amazing. I hope you're feeling full. You came here and you're receiving. And it really is the attitude when you walk in this room. We just want to compliment you, Minnesota, for having a leadership. That's a big deal. You know, in Worldwide, that's a big deal. Anytime we have a mic, I want to thank the Worldwide crew that's backstage and puts this all together and facilitates this. They're an amazing team at Worldwide that does what we couldn't do, right? Their creativity. Such a blessing to have Paul and Billy Sika here with us, who have been just a huge blessing to the management team, to all the leadership, to Worldwide, and just bringing that foundation of who they are as a couple to bless us and just help us just finish well in our lives and just become better in who we are. They're our dear special friends. We have Eric and Renee Peterson. I know there's our speaker hosts here. I just want to thank Eric and Renee, who we love so much. Special couple, amazing leaders. Bill and Sandy Hawkins, you don't find a more first-class couple who really spearheaded. And I know there's other diamond ships here represented. We honor all our friends. And Bill and Sandy are dear special friends and know they have really led the way in this region. And I hope you all appreciate what they've done here. And then, of course, Ron and Georgia Lee Peryear, you just saw them on stage. They're just a total first-class couple. They are first class. They love this business. They love all of you. And I know if you're new here and you're here as a guest, that may just sound really different to you. You know, when I first saw this business, I was not positive. I was very negative. What really got me to turn is I remember when Bob told me, he goes, honey, I want you to put the business on the shelf, the business model, and I want you to come and embrace and be around the people. And that's when I fell in love with Worldwide. And it's couples like Ron and Georgia Lee. And then our amazing sponsors, Dave and Darlene Duncan. And David went home to be with the Lord 5 years ago. And now we're blessed to be mentored and personally sponsored by Brad and Julie Duncan. And they're our everything in this business. They believe in us. They encourage us, our dearest friends. And our prayer for you is that you seek out and desire that relationship and mentorship in your life. That you're excited to have somebody speak into you, giving them permission to speak into you, because that's really what it is. Every leader that you have here wants to be able to speak into you because you've given him permission not to control you, but to give you direction and allow you to learn from maybe some of their mistakes and give you a vision for what you have ahead of you, because there is nothing like this business. It is the perfect package. It really, truly is. And so I want to share with you a little adventure that I had the blessing to be able to take. And we literally could be here hours with you talking about the trips and the experiences and the memories that we've created. That has always been our mantra in our family, is creating those memories. But I got a call in the fall, this last fall, from Julie, and she said, listen, I'm thinking of doing something. I want to know if you might be interested in joining me. And I said, what's that? She goes, well, I'm thinking happens to be the week that Brad and Bob come back to Snowmobile with Bill for that week. And she says, Habitat for Humanity, which is an amazing organization that goes in and builds homes around the world, well, they are going into Zacapa, Guatemala. And she goes, I want to know if you want to go with me and go build homes for a week down there. I have to be honest with you, not in my bucket list, not in my comfort zone. Honestly, never something I really desired to do. And I think because the spirit of this business and the things we've been exposed to, I go, let's do it. Because it is out of our comfort zone. I knew it would be a wonderful experience, first of all, because of the amazing association being there with Julie and being able to share that with her, but to do something that was outside of myself. And I believe when you really embrace this business and you understand what it is, it's dying to self, and it's really serving and putting others first. And along the way, I believe as you do that, the issues in your marriage and maybe relationship issues and things like that, those are the things that you'll figure out along the way when you're focusing on other people. And so we ended up in January getting on a plane. Don't feel sorry for us. We flew first class down, first class back, which was wonderful. And one of the treats was it was kind of a last minute that her daughter Brooke, who I'm very close to, came with us. And so Julie Duncan, Brooke Duncan, and Shelley Coomer ended up going on this adventure, flying into Guatemala. And we had a lot of documentation coming, making sure we had everything in line. We were going to a place that we literally had to go during the day because it was not safe. We had 8 armed guards on the buses that we had, armed guards, and it was 4 hours from the city of Guatemala to Zacapa, and it's a beautiful area. But as we drove into the location where we were going to be staying at a hotel that literally had, I don't know, maybe 15-foot walls with barbed wire all around it, incredibly gracious people greeting us. None of them spoke English, and we were going to a place that wasn't safe. There were huge health concerns there because of different things going on with different insects that were transferring these diseases, and that is very evident there. I mean, there are literally bugs there that could take you away. And so it was just totally out of my wheelhouse and comfort zone. Some of you may be in this room right now and going, I get that. That's kind of how I feel. This is different. I like how I'm feeling. I was excited about the adventure I was on, but it was just, I don't know. You may just not be all in. You may not know. You may be not trusting. You're not walking in faith. And because of who I was with, I let go and knew I had people that I believed in. I believed in the organization and what they did and the protection they were providing, and that's what you're getting here in Worldwide. You're getting this amazing protection. You're going to walk in an area you don't understand, again, speaking a language that may be a little foreign to you because it's entrepreneurship and you've maybe been on a different direction in your life. Well, when we went there, I didn't know what to expect. So getting up for me at 5 in the morning, that's my greatest, I guess the greatest dream I had in this business. For some of you may relate to this. I wanted to be free so I could sleep in. Honest to goodness. Seriously. I still don't take that for granted. As silly as that might sound. We got up at 5 a.m. in the morning. The temperature hit at an average 100 degrees in the day. At the site we went to, there was absolutely no shade. Humidity, again, all these bugs, and we're going to build homes, which Bob looked at me and goes, are you kidding me, really? So we get there and we have the community and we break into teams and we go and we're assigned these homes that are cinder blocks. We have to make the mortar. We have to go ahead and design and put together the rebar. We have to literally, they just bring the cinder blocks in the middle of a big kind of pasture area, and we have to literally have an assembly line. I don't know how much these blocks weigh, but they're a lot. And we're in the first hour, and Julie and Brooke and I look at each other and we're like, wow, we're in for a ride because this is just the first hour and we're here for a week. Some of you may feel like that in this business. Sometimes you get in and you're getting those no's. You hit that wall, you're frustrated. People aren't getting you. Your family are just saying you're crazy, whatever. You know, we get it in this business, and that's how I was experiencing there, but I knew we were there to do something great. We were there to build a home for this precious family that this organization, Habitat for Humanity, was giving a hand up, not a handout. Welcome to Worldwide Dream Builders. You are getting a hand up, not a handout. And I hope you're thankful for that, because it truly is what you become through it, right? What you get from it. And so as we were there, going through the motions, figuring things out, we're on a team of people, and it was very interesting. You hear Brad talk about a third, a third, a third. Maybe you've heard this before, where a third of people will just basically be very complacent, not do anything, walk away from an opportunity. A third will sit there and kind of hang out, muddle a little bit, participate a little bit, and then a third will run and be engaged. Well, it was so interesting. On the team of people we had there, a third basically sat in the shade and watched us work. A third told us what to do, and a third of us, and Brooke, Julie, and I were the third, worked. And so we called Julie Mortar Mama, and Brooke and I were rebar babies. And we just got more determined because this little family had to come help us, and the mom was due any day with their second baby. She had a little 3-year-old. And they were there watching and helping us as best they could, and we just got in the zone. I remember getting hot, and we were tired, and we just kept going, okay, just keep hydrated and just keep doing the work, because we're building a home for this family. We're building a home for this family. And then I remember standing there, and we had to make the cement and mortar to put this home together. And I remember people standing around. Several of them were gentlemen standing around watching, and nobody was doing it. And I said, well, I guess being around horses and learning to shovel out barns is going to come to use now. So I dug in and started making the cement, making the mortar, because we were determined to have that home go up for this family. It was a dream that we wanted to give them. Do you know all your upline has such a dream to watch you build your home, to build your life, to create your freedom? And that mortar in those bricks as you lay them is going to be counseling, listening to CDs, reading books, embracing mentorship and counseling and coaching to help those bricks, because once you put up and you lay the foundation, you start to build your home, you do not want it to crumble. Do you agree with that? You want it to stay together. You have the best with Worldwide. Now, we didn't really know what we were doing, but we started to seek out and look at the homes that were going up faster than us, and we started to seek out the people on the teams that have been coming 11 years. They built over 100 homes in this community. So we started to seek up the people there that knew what they were doing. And we started to ask questions, what we could do, and we asked them to come over and show us how to tie the rebar, show us how to make it so it doesn't bend and tie, show us how to do all these things. So we got more proficient at it, and we got in the zone. And guess what? By the third morning, we were excited to be up. We were excited to go out there and do the work. We were excited to build because we could see it happening. And that's where you're going to get in this business. So you're on your journey. We have the benchmarks we have so you can get in the zone. And those of you who are Eagle and above, you are in the zone now, right? And you're heading on your journey to double Eagle Ruby and then on to Diamond. That's what you have with Worldwide. And so it was such an incredible experience, such an incredible experience. But I think the crowning moment for me was when I was under a tree one day, the only place I could find shade, and they gave me the job, and they had these long metal rods that we had to cut, and then you had to bend them to C-rings that tied the rebar together. And so I said, I'll go do it. And so I sat there and I just kept cutting, I kept cutting, I kept cutting. And the father of this family, who we met the first night we were there, could barely look us in the eye, did not have a strong self-image, and I think he was just so intimidated by the language barrier. So he came underneath the tree, and he was watching me, and he came up, he put his hand on my shoulder. And I get emotional about it right now, thinking about him. This precious young man, this little family. And he looked at me and he said, and you could tell he probably practiced this for 3 or 4 days because he knew no English. He goes, thank you so much for building my home. We so appreciate you. Thank you for helping me and my family. Well, I got all choked up. That's why we went. Was it fun? No. Was it rewarding? Over the top. There's going to be times when it isn't fun. But when it's you get that Kate message, you get that letter like George Lee read to you about that 12-year-old daughter. Those are the moments that you have the rewards. That's when it takes what you do from success to significance in this business. It is unbelievable what you receive from it. I was with Marcy Whalen yesterday when she came. We talked about it. We can't justify the blessings that we're receiving because of what we've done. It is this amazing system that's blessed us, but we just know we want to continue to go out and do the right thing. Continue to go out and serve people. Continue to go out and push through. Just like Mandy Cerruta talked about, when you don't feel like it, when everything says don't do it. Can I give you a little secret? Do it. Because it doesn't matter the result. You did the right thing, right? You did the right things, and that's the rewards will come. I journaled the whole time I was there, just tried to capture how I felt, because it was a very personal thing. You know, we'd come home exhausted, we'd go to our room, we didn't really socialize with people a lot. You just had to get your rest and get up and do it again. And it was just a very interesting experience, but I just put, even though the immediate feelings will pass, the experience will be etched on my heart forever. And you know what? I pray for you, this function is that for you. That this function will etch something in your heart, like it did for me, where it broke open my heart, went in my heart, and let me know that I need to support this amazing man, this man that's a dreamer, that has a vision for our life, so that we can do something great for our family and leave a legacy, and just continue to move forward and believe in each other, work through whatever life throws our way, and love and be passionate about this business. And when you understand, when you allow Worldwide to etch in your heart, watch out, because thousands upon thousands of people are going to be changed. And we are going to change this country, you guys, one person at a time. We believe in you. We love you. We are so proud of you. And here's my awesome dream builder, Bobby.
Well, I asked Brad Duncan, we were up snowmobiling in Cross Lake, and the girls were down in Guatemala. I said, do you have any desire to go down in 100-degree heat and 100% humidity and build homes? He went, nope. I go, okay, next question. That's the girls' thing. It was not our thing. We like hanging out with Bill Hawkins up at Cross Lake. But we have a lot of fun in this business, but we got to get serious as you lay your foundation. And that's what I want to talk to you about this afternoon. You know, they put us today, I think, last. A lot of times we're stuck between pretty people. There's always really pretty people before us, like the Eatons, and pretty people after us. And there's really bright people before us and bright people after us. And Shelley and I give everybody hope, because we're not Ken and Barbie, and we're not the sharpest tools in the shed. So we're going to give you hope for sure. And I think what it is for me, just being a good old Montana kid growing up most of my life in the country, is just common sense. And how many of you know today common sense isn't common anymore? It's just not common. And so, you know, I come to big cities and I see all these people with these fancy degrees and everything else, and I have 3 degrees, but I see these big degrees, and, you know, I tell people all the time, how many of you have met highly educated, stupid people before? A lot, especially in this day and age, right? So what I want to do is I want to explain to you that regardless of what handicap you have, whether it's high education, okay, because the more educated you typically are, the less likely you are to listen because you're very opinionated, or you'll use the lack of education as an excuse, or maybe your looks, or maybe your situation with your children, your predicament with how you were raised, or whatever else. Here's what I know. The most powerful thing that you'll ever learn in this business outside of your relationship with your big mentor up above is the compound effect. When Darren Hardy wrote the book, The Compound Effect, I absolutely thought it was one of the top 3 books I've ever read since I've been in this business. It had a humongous, profound impact on me. I thought it was incredible, absolutely incredible book. And the compound effect is basically, for those of you who haven't read it yet, it's a principle of reaping huge rewards from a series of small, not big, but small, smart choices. Regardless of what you hear from stage throughout this weekend, there's nothing new. There's nothing new on the stage. There's no new fundamentals. All they're doing up here all weekend long is we're repackaging what you've heard, if you've been around this business any length of time and all. We're just repackaging everything you've heard for years and years and years and years and years. Now, I love the process. I bought into the process a long time ago. But the process is nothing that any of your leaders haven't been teaching you for years. We just added a few more steps so we can connect better with people and everything else. But hopefully you've been qualifying people forever. You've had posture forever. You've followed up with them. And you just don't waste your time with anybody. We're just a little bit stronger today. But we allow those people to throw themselves out into the wolves and the den of the wolves instead of us doing it today because decisions they're able to make. So with that said, I want you to understand there's no secret formula to building this business. Everybody thinks, well, the process is a secret formula. That's not true. There is no secret. There is no idea of the month club. And if you get caught up in the idea of the month club, it's going to kill you because that creates confusion. Every time you introduce a new idea into your organization, it absolutely paralyzes your group because they think, well, I've got to go here, I've got to go there. You're going to hear Bill Hawkins talk tomorrow. It's going to blow your mind. Bill talks a lot about that, and it's a phenomenal talk. He shared with me a little bit in the back what he's going to cover, and it's really good stuff. But I remember this has been going on for years, so it's nothing new. And the more we're bombarded with sensationalized media and social media and everything else, the more we're bombarded by it, the more we think we've got to take a quick fix pill or a drug or whatever else. I remember years ago, give you an idea how it's evolved. Same thing, it's just evolved over time. I remember years ago, and I'm older than a lot of you in this room, where you could put a belt around you, a canvas belt around you, stand on top of a little machine, and it would shake the fat off you, and that's how you're going to lose weight, okay? Now, there's pills for this today, there's pills for that, there's gimmicks for this. I mean, we watch stuff on TV, there's no way it could possibly be true, but we get so caught up in the emotion and sensationalism of it, we think that there's a get-rich-quick scheme or it's going to be easy and we can just take a pill to get it all done. That's not true. That is simply not true. And it's amazing to me today how everybody is looking for that fix or that shortcut. It's just like Amway, but better. Well, if you did your due diligence when you got in this business, and you understand how the compensation plan works, you understand the magnitude of the diversified product line. You understand the corporation that's behind you. You understand how many years you've been in. You understand with all that said, which is awesome, Worldwide Dream Builders with all the different divisions in our LLC that backs you up. If anyone ever said that to you, you'd almost have to laugh, and you'd almost refuse to even argue with them and take the energy to do so because it's idiotic that they would even say something like that. In the hotel we're staying over here, the headquarter hotel, Herbalife's in town, and I'm not saying that specifically to throw that out at them, but these guys are driving around with everything tattooed on the back of their trucks and their windows and everything else, thinking that's the answer to the thing, and they don't have a clue what's going on because they don't have you. They don't have Worldwide. They don't have any of this stuff because they don't get it. They don't get it. So there's six principles that encompass the compound effect, and if you're taking notes, write these down. Okay, here's the six principles, and I want you to understand this. I know the first principle I want to talk about, a lot of you have heard this before, but I'm going to put a spin on it a little bit different way. And the first principle is to understand how the compound effect works. All right, so here's what we're going to do. You've heard this analogy before. Let's say I came up to my friend down here, BJ, and I said, hey, BJ, I'm going to give you $3 million, or you can get a penny that's going to double, not every day, every month for 31 months. Not every day, like you've heard before, but every month for 31 months. Now, if you don't understand the effect of the compound effect, and you've been a job person all your life like I was raised by blue-collar parents that said go out and get a good education, get a good job, bust your hump, work for another man's dream all your life. They didn't say that. But they said if you do that, you'll end up one day, having enough money, hopefully accumulated to where you can live on half what you can't live on today. Hello? All right, now watch. So what are you going to do if you were raised that way? What are you going to do? If you understand the cash flow quadrant and you were raised in that first quadrant, even the second quadrant, what are you going to do? You're going to take the $3 million. Why? Because we're short-term thinkers. We want a quick fix. We want to take a pill and we want to lose weight. We want to do whatever we got to do to get rich now. And we don't understand it's going to be a process, especially the older we get. So here's how this works. You take that penny and you double it. You just double it for 1 month. Wow, you got 2 cents. And your friend's looking at you like you're nuts. BJ's got $3 million, I got 2 cents. You're going, are you crazy? After 5 months, I've got 16 cents. How's it going? Did you get your jet yet? Are you kidding me? Oh my God, we never see it anymore. What's going on? You out building your little soap business? Is that what you're doing? And here's the worst part, you get more grief from your parents and your loved ones than anybody, especially if you're young in here. Because your parents were raised in an era in 1960s, 1970s, when it was door-to-door selling soap. In 1980, when I got out of college, I bought a brand new, out-the-door F-150 Ford pickup truck. Brand new, $7,800. No one ever broke the leather in it but me, okay? Brand new out the door. That same truck today is 72 grand. I got to ask you a question. It's still a Ford. It's still an F-150. Is it different today than it was in 1980? You got to believe that it is. There's not even a close second to what we do, and the corporation today is not even close to what it was years ago, and Worldwide has grown beyond belief, and we're a better company today than before, and nobody, and you need to understand this, whether you believe it or not, nobody, there's not a system on the planet, not an organization, not a mentorship group on the planet that can touch what Worldwide Dream Builder does, or the Amway Corporation. Not a one. So you're into month 10, you've almost been in this thing a whole year. You've almost went through a complete cycle. And if you're married in here, God, you're fighting all the way here. God, we've been in this thing a year. We're not where we want to be. I can just picture Jorgen right now, my buddy. He's probably fighting with Katie going, God, we're not where we want to be. I'm sick and tired of doing this. Because I know Jorgen, he is one competitive dude. Not that Katie isn't. Oh, my God. Okay? And they're probably fighting all the way here. And they're probably counseling with Dad and Bill and Sandy. And, they're whining. And Bill's trying to do whatever he's got to do as a dad and calm them down. But deep down inside, he's going, come on, you two. But you've only been in 10 months, so it's no big deal. Because you've seen your parents grow or you've seen friends grow, so it's no big deal. But then month's 20. You've almost been in 2 years now. You ready for this? Your buddy still got $3 million. He's got a brand new boat. Maybe he bought a home up on the lake in Brainerd or Cross Lake. Maybe he's going down to Vegas, having fun. They're taking trips to Hawaii. They're going to New Zealand and all over the country. And because he's still got his $3 million he's invested, he saved. But after 20 months, you have $5,243. After 20 months. You don't think you're going to catch some crap? And the longer you take to build this thing, the longer you take to understand the compound effect, the more heat you're going to take. I caught so much heat from my dad, I can't even tell you. Blue collar guy, Air Force, 22 years, worked for the state government for another 22 years. We'd go fishing every year on the 4th of July, and he'd say to me, aren't you going this year? I said, no. You're not going to build that little stupid business, are you? I said, that's exactly what I'm going to do. You're going to miss this opportunity to go out with your old man fishing? I said, no, I'm going to take this opportunity to build a life for my family, my wife and my kids. Now, here's what's crazy. He still doesn't get it. He's 82 years old. I love him to death. I take him to Argentina. I take him hunting to Canada. I take him fishing around the world. I pay for everything. Still doesn't get it. Still doesn't get it. I'm thank God every day I didn't listen to him. I thank God every day I didn't listen to my friends in corporate America who laughed behind my back. And I watched her cry because everybody was teasing her and talking about her behind her back at work because they didn't understand the compound effect and what you know after 20 months. After 29 months, woo, you ready for this? You still aren't up to what he's got, $2.65 million. $2.65 million after 29 months, almost 3 years. You're catching hell, baby, and you're fighting if you're married in here like you can. Honey, we've been to that thing 3 times. We've been to leadership 3 times. We went through flat growth. When's it going to happen in Minneapolis? It's happening. 45% growth is a happening, okay? It's growing. It's happening. You just need to hang on long enough to see it. And if you don't believe it, then step to the side. Step to the side because it's coming, whether you believe it or not. If you've been around this thing too long and you can't get rid of that junk, and I'm going to talk about that principle in a minute, then you need to come backstage and let me give you a lobotomy right back over here, double pithing. Okay? Now watch, this is important. After 30 months, $5.3 million. I'm smoking his $3 million now after 30 months. And after 31 months, I'm at $10,737,000. Do you think today I'm glad that I gave up my $180,000 to $200,000 a year corporate job in 1989 to make the money I'm making today, living the lifestyle, making the tens of millions of dollars we've made, living on the beaches of the world? Do you think I'm thankful that I didn't listen to my parents, my friends, my buddies, my corporate? Do you think I'm thankful? Oh my gosh, I'm beyond grateful. I'm in Hawaii, a diamond club, and the last day we're there, I mean, it's unbelievable. We're at the Fairmont Orchid. We're watching whales jump. This hotel is out of control. They gave her money to go spend on Tiffany jewelry. They gave me money to go to Tommy, Bahamas, and I'm going down there buying shoes and shirts. And I remember walking, tough guy from Montana, hunting, fishing guy, Men like me don't cry. And I'm walking on voicemail, walking along, going up to the mall to buy some more clothes and stuff. Beautiful sunny day. Went right over that mountain over there, went into the rainforest and watched the volcano blow. You never seen anything like it in your life. Do you seen a volcano blow at night? Phenomenal. 2 more volcanoes getting to blow over here. All the lava, the different types of tubes. And I'm living in paradise. I'm just going, wow, and I'm pinching myself. And I'm getting emotional sending a message going, I'm so grateful. We don't take it for granted. I am so grateful. My parents never made over 30 grand in their life, and he would give it here. I make more than that in a month, and they've never done that in their lifetime. You don't think I'm grateful? Materialistic stuff is awesome. I want nicer stuff, but it's not my priority. My priority is to create memories with my family. That's mantra to me. That's our mantra. We're going to travel around the world and create family memories. That's what we're going to do. Principle number 2, choices. We all come into this world naked, scared, and ignorant, do we not? All of us do. And after that, the life we end up with is simply an accumulation of all the choices we make, good or bad. If you want to get from where you're at today in life, in this business, where you're at in your marriage and your spiritual walk, if you want to get from where you're at today to where you want to be, then you have to become aware of your choices that are leading you away from your desired destiny. You have to become aware. Now, that all sounds good, Bob, but how do you do that? You track it. If you read Hardy's book, he talks about tracking. You need to track everything. You need to track how many minutes a day. Like if you're a Christian like Ron Peryear, how many minutes a day you're reading a good book? How many minutes a day do you smoke cigarettes? Or whatever the case may be. When I was lifting weights back in the day, EAS out of Denver, a lot of the Denver Broncos used it. When we were lifting weights, you'd have to track everything. You'd start off where you were going to be on Monday and bench press, and then where you'd end up on a Friday that week, and how you'd have to make adjustments. When I ran, competitively, I had to track everything I did. I had to track my times. I had to track my distance. I had to track everything with the farlequin and the repeats and the 800s and everything else. I had to track all that because if I didn't know if I was improving with the stopwatch and everything else, I'm just running a run. And I get people in this business that were like me that have jobs. They don't track anything. Why do you think we have a 90-day core run? Why do you think Bill Hawkins, if you're in his group, put out that little sheet for the 90-day core run where you can track everything and see if you're reading every single day like you're supposed to, if you're listening to a CD every day or an audio, if you're going out and dropping the message. So you can see from week to week if you're improving. Because it's the compound effect. It's little decisions that are smart decisions compounded over time. But you got to track it. If you don't track it, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Principle number 3, habits. This is a biggie. Especially if you're over 45 or 50 in here, so pay attention, because I'm over 50. Pay attention, all right? Here it is, habits. Habits, good or bad? Good or bad are learned. Do you know that? Habits, good or bad, you aren't born with bad habits. I know we have the old son nature when we're born, but you're not born with bad habits. Fear is learned. Habits are learned. And the more we do them, the stronger they get. The more we do them, the stronger they get. I remember Tracy Eaton, we were on Dream Night swing with him a couple years ago. He goes, you know, one of the things I did, and when I read the compound effects is I understood, quit hitting the snooze button. I'd set my alarm, I'd get up out of bed. I used to hit the snooze button, and then it'd go 5 or 10 minutes. I hit it again, go 5 or 10 minutes. You're creating such a terrible habit, it's not even funny. As silly as that sounds, it's the little things in life over a period of time that add to big things. If you start doing that, then you quit making your bed. Then you quit washing the dishes, you leave them in the sink, and one thing leads another, and you got a pigsty going on in your house, and it takes you weeks to clean it up. And if you just done a little bit of every single day what you needed to do, it'd be unbelievable. Let me give you an example. When I go hunting in Montana, I go after a big old moose or something, a big gigantic moose. I remember one year I was watching this big bull moose. It was about 10 below outside. I'm watching this guy, and he reached down and picked up a pine tree about this big. My first thought was, who would want to eat that thing? Man, eating a pine tree? Ugh. All right? And he reached down with his mouth and he pulled that pine tree out, no problem. A little bitty 6-inch or 12-inch sapling. I thought about that. I said, if I had you go out there and do the same thing, you'd do it without any effort at all. But then when that tree gets a little bitter, maybe it's waist high, a little bit more effort, but no problem. But man, when it gets about as high as your head, God, maybe you have to dig out around the roots and you have to put a rock down there and a little stick and a fulcrum and you have to work at it, get it. But eventually, poof, you got it. But then I tell you, go pull that one out, and it's a 40-foot high pine tree, and you're going, I can't do it. Yeah, you can. Sure you can. But the roots are so deep, you don't think you can. You're 40 years of age, you're 50 years of age. You've done pornography for 10, 15, 20 years of your life. You don't think you can break the habit. You've got these holes in your heart you've been filling with all kinds of junk. You're a 35, 40-year-old man, you're still playing Candy Crush. I see it happen every time I fly first class with 50 and 60-year-old men playing Candy Crush in first class on the airplane everywhere I go. I see young men today, 35 and 40 years of age, still playing video games. I want to look at them. I use people skills. I don't ever say this. I want to go, grow up. What are you doing? And you wonder why our country's in the position they're in today. You wonder. Uprooting bad habits. Matt alluded to this. Uprooting bad habits is not easy, and it's not fun. It's not fun, but once you get in a rhythm, we tell everybody, if you adopt, and I know if you've been around this business a while, you just buck change, because they're deep roots, and we don't want to change. It's harder to pull them up. But if you adopt the process, if you'll just get in there and adopt the process, let me tell you what's going to happen. If you do it consistently, compound effect, consistently for 3 to 5 months, you will start getting traction, but it's going to take you 3 to 5 months. And if you stop and start, it's not going to work. If I lift for a month and take a month off, I don't pick up where I left off. And now it's tougher because now it's not a physical thing anymore, it's a mental thing. Now I know when I go to lift, it's going to hurt because of the lactic acid and everything else. You with me? It gets tougher when you start and stop. So good or bad habits, we have to develop them big time, and we've got to uproot them. Now, the only way you can do that on a consistent basis, the only way you can stay consistent, the only way, is you have to develop a big why. You've got to have a monster why. And when your why is big enough, your how doesn't matter anymore. Let me give you an example. I can't swim. I've always lived in climates where I never learned how to swim. I was a Boy Scout, and I took snowshoeing for my first class swimming badge because I lived in Goose Bay, Labrador. It was 50, 60 below zero for 3 years of my life. So I never learned how to swim. To this day, I'm in the water all the time, fishing all the time. And if I fell over, today would be the day. Okay? I can't swim. And so one day Brad calls me up and says, bring Dylan down. I'm down at my main house in Spokane, down by the river. It was a little bit earlier than this, cloudy, miserable, spitting snow, you know, where it spits in gray clouds and spitting a little bit of snow, and then it opens up, you'll see a little bit of sun and spit snow. Just, God, depressing, cold. I mean, you know that. You live in Minnesota. You know what I'm talking about. Okay? And you're sitting out, and I come down this hill, and Brad's by the river. The river's out of its banks, just about out of its banks, cold, miserable. It's so turbid, you can't see 5 feet in the water. Can't see 5 feet. And chilly. The water's probably 34, 35 degrees. The air temperature's that or colder, spitting a little bit of snow. And I bring Dylan down, my 6-year-old. Now, he says to Uncle Brad, he sees a four-wheeler sitting there, Uncle Brad, can I ride the four-wheeler? And Brad goes, no, buddy, you're too little. He goes, please, Uncle Brad, please. He goes, ask your dad. I said, buddy, you need to listen to Uncle Brad. You're pretty little, buddy. That's a 600-pound bike there. I mean, God, you're just a little guy. I don't think that's a good idea. Please, Uncle Brad, please. So we finally caved in. So we put a helmet on his head. His head's about this big. The helmet was this big, okay? Looked like a spaceman. So we put him on this thing. We said, okay, you can ride down here in this little bitty circle oval, but you can't go up the hill, which is 3 times high as the stage. He goes, okay, okay. So just like any kid, he does it about 4 times and he's bored. So he comes back. Dad, Uncle Brad, can I please go up the hill? Can I please go up the hill? Can I? We go, no, buddy. Why not, Uncle Brad? Why not? Because if you come down and you panic, you're going to grab the gas instead of the brake, and God only knows what can happen. We don't think, please, Uncle Brad, please, please, please. Finally, Brad caved in. So he'd go away from us about 100 yards, go up a hill about 30 yards high, come across, come back down. He did it about 3 times. The 4th time he came around, he hit a rock. Not a big one, little rock. And he panicked. And that thing jumped. And he gave it the gas, and here he comes. Whatever a 500 or 600 cc Polaris four-wheeler will do, 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, here he comes right at us. And the river's right behind us, and there's a tree here, and there's a tree here. And he's coming right at us. I go, Brad, what are we going to do? He goes, I'm going to tackle him. I said, you tackle him, he's going to die, and you're going to die at 60 miles an hour. What are we going to do? And we're going like this, and we don't know, and we see his eyes this big in the helmet, and here he comes, just hauling. Coming right at us. I'm going, he's either going to go in the river, or he's going to hit the tree, and if he hits the tree at that speed, he's dead. So I'm freaking out as dad. I'm panicking. I'm going back and forth. I go, I don't know what to do. And thankfully, he didn't hit the trees. He came between them, and it looked like the Dukes of Hazzard. Boom! Into the river. Four-wheeler disappears. My little 6-year-old disappears. Four-wheeler comes up where the back tires are floating down the river with a wicked current. No little 6-year-old on it. Brad starts running down the bank, pulling his shoes off, his socks off. I'm running down the bank, and I get even with the four-wheeler, and I jump in. I can't swim. I go straight to the bottom, 15 feet, and it's ripping me down the river. And I'm looking, and I'm freaking out, I'm panicking, I'm looking, and all of a sudden I look over, and here's my little spaceman. Holding his breath. And I'm trying to get to him, and I go back down, and I come up, I take a breath, and I come and I grab him, and I go back down, and I hold him above my head, and finally the current takes us to a curve, and Brad grabs him and gets him out. And I'm starting to crawl up. He goes, get my four-wheeler. I said, Brad, I can't swim. He said, get my four-wheeler. I said, Brad, I can't swim. He goes, get my damn four-wheeler. I go, I can't swim. Now, why do I tell you that? When your why's big enough, the facts don't count. I can't swim. I've saved 2 people from drowning, and I can't swim. Principle number 4, goals. You only see, experience, and get what you look for. I bought that Raptor. I never looked at a Raptor, never saw a Raptor, never cared about a Raptor. I could see a Raptor coming a mile away with the 3 lights on the grill now. I'll be driving down the road and go, here comes a Raptor. So he goes, what? I go, here comes a Raptor. How do you know? Look, sure enough, it's a Raptor. So what do? You have to commit it to writing. Bill Britt said that forever. You have to put it in writing. You have to commit pen and paper, not a tablet, not a computer, not your phone. You have to take out pen and paper. There's something magical about pen and paper and writing down goals. That's why we tell people to put pictures on refrigerators, as goofy as you might think that is, or write on your mirror with a marker, marker board marker. Do whatever you got to do. You need to write down goals. Now ask, what do I need to do to achieve those goals? What do I need to do to achieve them? Okay? Not a bad question, right? That's what everyone's going to ask when you sit down and mentor them. What do I need to achieve my goals? Not a bad question. But here is the challenge. Anything you pursue in life, it will elude you. Anything. Anything. When you chased the butterfly as a little kid, the more you chased it, the faster that thing eluded you. I remember I was 29 years of age and still single. I wanted to get married one day. I wasn't sure I could take care of anybody because I was so immature at 29, it was unbelievable. But I wanted to get married, so I started writing a list down of what kind of lady I wanted to be married to. 11 pages later. Seriously. Color of her hair, color of her eyes, her values, how we're going to raise our kids, spanking, timeouts, who's going to run the checkbook, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. I wrote down everything. Then I had an epiphany. 35 days into writing that list down, I had an epiphany. You know what my epiphany was? What girl like that would want to be married to a guy like me? So you know what I did? I took out 11 more pages of paper and I started writing down the person I had to become so a woman like that would be attracted to a man like me. Now listen, I don't know what it is about the IY generation or the millennials, but you are so hell-bent on having a relationship, it's unbelievable. I know because I have kids that are 21, soon to be 21 and 19. And all these young people that are in my business, they got to be with somebody all the time. I said, why don't you how am I going to ever find a cool guy? You know, I love Brad, I love you. I mean, how do I find a cool guy like you? I've seen some neat guys at church, and you're not going to find them. How do I find them? I said, become a better you. Honestly, I don't know where the Eagle section is, but when we're in the major coliseums, and all the Eagles and double Eagles are sitting here, here's what I tell all the gals. I said, the Eagles and double Eagle guys are not looking up in the nosebleed section and go, there she is. Woo-hoo, hey, baby, there she is. No, they're looking in the Eagle, double Eagle section and go, ooh, check her out. Because you have something in common. Because you understand the compound effect. You understood what she or he had to do to get to that point to be an Eagle or double Eagle, and you have that much more in common with values and goals and everything else. If I was to get married today, if I wasn't married to that beautiful woman, I would be right dead in the middle of the hottest growing organization in the world, and I'd say, here I is. Because of who I became, she'd be attracted. Let me give you another example. I'm running out of time. Let me give you another example, okay? When I was running competitive for Adidas, I'm running down the road one day in Montana. I lived in Clancy, Montana, Helena, Montana. And I used to run between 90 and 110 hours a week in the wintertime. And every Sunday, I'd take a 22-mile run. And I'm running 11 o'clock at night, 10, 15 below zero with the chill factor, and I'm running down the freeway. And it's not like Minneapolis. When you run down the freeway at 11 o'clock at night in Montana, there's nobody on the freeway but you. And I'm running along, next thing you know, I hear something coming up behind me, and immediately I'm thinking wolf or coyote. My hair goes up on my neck, and man, I turn around, and here's a guy 6'3" plodding along next to me, like out of nowhere. I mean, I'm the only guy out in the middle of nowhere. I'm 20 miles away from town. And I'm running, and he goes, hey, do you mind if I run with you? I go, fire it up, come on. Long story short, his name was Stan Zizatarsky. He became my training partner. Stan went on to win the Olympic bronze medal in the biathlon, and we trained for about 3 to 4 years. And finally, one day he came up to me, and I remember that I've been running for 3 to 4 years on my own just to get in shape, run races. He said to me, you ever thought about running for a company like a Nike or Adidas? And I go, I don't even know how to do that. He goes, put together a running resume. I go, what's that? He goes, you write down all the races you ran, your times you ran them in, distances and everything else. Give them to me. I'll submit them to Adidas, and we'll see if we can't get you all your free shoes, free travel, free this and that, so you can compete on Team Adidas. I went, cool. Now watch. I became a member of Team Adidas for 7 years. Now, you know why I became a member of Team Adidas? Not because I pursued them, but because of the person I became. I became a kick-butt runner. When I was never looking for a sponsor, they started to recognize that I had strengths that I didn't even see in me because of the resume I put together and the resources that came into my life because of the person I became. Maxwell says it this way, you attract you not what you want, but what you are. You attract you not what you want, but what you are. You young ladies in here, I'm very protective of young ladies, especially single women, especially single moms. You want to find a world-class gentleman? I know you probably don't need one, but if you want to find a world-class gentleman, become a world-class woman, and he'll come into your life. He'll find you. He'll come into your life. Okay? Now watch. This is good stuff. Principle number 5 is momentum. I went to Bill's house last night. He invited us up, and beautiful home. I mean, gorgeous home. And I've been up to his home and Cross Lake, his lake home. Oh my gosh. You know, I see all his pictures in his artwork, and I see pictures of his beautiful children and their furniture, and you know, Sandy's just a class act and how he spoils her and everything else. And I'm going, why is it that these guys keep getting richer and more successful and prosperous? Well, why everything Brad touches turns to gold? I've never seen him lose anything on one real estate deal or anything he's ever done yet. Not once. You know what it is? It's called momentum. You start getting momentum in your life, it will blow your mind what will start to happen if you understand all the principles I'm talking about. And once you get the big mo, you can't let it go. That's why with 43, 45% gross in Minneapolis, if you will sustain that, not just because you came in here and got a bunch of people fired up that were guests before they came, you get those people converted from guests to IBOs if they're worth sponsoring, and you help those people cram and jam and do whatever they got to do to get that momentum and keep it going in the family reunion. You watch what happens by this time next year. This thing will be packed out to the rafters, but you got to get momentum. You can't poke at this thing. I can't lift periodically. I can't open the door for her every once in a while. I've got to create momentum. I got to keep it going. And then finally, principle number 6 is influences. There's 3 types of influences in your life. Number 1, what you feed your mind. What are you putting in your head? What are you putting in your head? Are you watching werewolf movies? Come on, ladies. Let's talk about it. Are you? What are you putting in your mind? Are you on social media, Facebook? Blows my mind. Please don't misunderstand my heart. You don't know me. I've never been on Facebook in my life, so I'm probably speaking out of ignorance. But I'm telling you right now, there's nothing on Facebook that I need. Not one thing. Because it's the biggest gossip site on the planet, is all it is. And you are bored to death out of your brain if you need to go on Facebook every day and seek out other people's approvals or whatever you need to do on Facebook. It's to me, it's sad. I know I probably lost some of you in here that are on Facebook. It's okay. I'm not mad at you. Just change. Just change. Okay? Now watch. This is good. Number 2, what you feed your mind. What you feed your mind, and then your surroundings. Your surroundings. Where are you putting yourself? Are you putting yourself in the middle of a function like this? Or are you more concerned about what's going on tonight from 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock with Prince? No offense, heck of an artist. But are you serious? Probably never met the man, maybe seen him at a concert one time, and you're more fired up and more distraught, rather, and got so much disdain going on because of a man you never met in your life. And you got somebody like a Gonzer in your life. You got somebody like a Winker in your life. You got somebody like a Bateman in your life that's going to come in your life. And you can be in the same room as those giants that have gone before you. They're going to help you. Where are you spending your time, your surroundings, and then the people you spend your time with? And in close, just remember this. This is very, very important you understand this in closing. When you make tough decisions, to put up boundaries. Great book, Boundaries, we have in our book list. When you make tough decisions to put up boundaries between you and people who are dragging you down, you need to realize that they'll fight you. They're going to fight you. Your decision to live a more positive, goal-oriented life will be a mirror to their own poor choices. It's not about you at that point. It's about the fact and their fears and the guilt of the poor choices they made that's put them in the position they're at in life. They can change too, they're just not willing to do it. They're just not willing to do it. You do a little bit every day, make little smart decisions every day, read your little bitty book every day. You might think it's inconsequential to listen to a CD or an audio every day. You might think it's goofy just to make people aware of what's available every day or drop a message every day. But if you do that for 1 year and never miss a major function and go to the regionals and the second looks for 1 year and go to a class reunion, go to a family reunion, go to a Christmas, it will blow your mind how you're going to look at all your family members and go, did I used to think like that? Did I used to talk like that? Did I used to look and act like that? You're going to go, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Worldwide Dream Builders. Thank you to all my wonderful heroes in my life, like a Bill Hawkins and a Sandy Hawkins, who were diamonds long before I was, and I've always admired that man. He's just awesome. Sandy's just a sweetheart, and I'm so thankful to have people like that in my life, and you should be too. Thanks for having us.
The success depicted may reflect income from sources other than Amway, such as earnings from the sale of training and educational materials or other businesses or investments. While the techniques and approaches suggested here may have worked for others, no one can guarantee they will work for you. We also want to emphasize that success is not achieved in this business without hard work. For existing IBOs only, not for use with prospects. Worldwide Group is an optional training and support system designed to help you build your independent business powered by Amway. Eagle and Double Eagle are Worldwide Dream Builders recognitions and are not part of the Amway IBO compensation plan.